So I wanted to give a quick demo of Riplane. And what we're looking at here is the dashboard where you can filter through the org, team, and yourself, as well as organize by boards. And so this is just a great way to get in like high level insight into your complexity mix, velocity trends, work type distribution, stuff like that. Where Rippling really gets interesting is when you start going into things like velocity insights, where you start to understand how members are moving across. Here we can see that in this demo example, Mark and Nancy have not moved any tasks across. In the workflow section here, AI will come into your the board or the connections that you have through these integrations, and we'll start analyzing the types of work so that you can start understanding what types of work that you are undertaking. So we have value creation, right? These are basically planned business tasks. Capability is work that strengthens the team abilities to deliver in the future. Flow sustaining is operational and maintenance work, right? This is like something gets updated and you need to update some more things based off of that. And then disruptive is like unplanned fires, emergency requests, etc. that come in. So this allows you to start getting an understanding as to where different types of work align, and then regression rates by categories, right? Are we deprioritizing a lot of flow sustaining work? It looks like we are here. And here's what's cool is it'll give you categories over time and some forecasting under next month's forecast, but we'll get into forecasting in a second. So next up is flow health. And what flow health is this is a deeper insight into that rework blocked rate and deprioritization rate over time, so that you can start to see, oh, okay, how are we doing on this, right? If we're dealing with reworks, like I have a goal to get rework down to 2%. How am I trending against that? And then it'll also show some regression rates and then a per person breakdown of this regression, right? Whether it's rework, blocked, or deprioritize. So the next one that's pretty cool is bottlenecks. So this one allows you to understand where the bottlenecks are happening within your business. So here it'll show you who's delaying things the most. It's me. Where's the highest impact step, right? So this is the place where things sit the longest, the slowest stage, as well as you can get your blocked reasons here. You have a heat stall or a stage stall heat map. And then underneath here is a stall by owner, right? So this lets you know how tasks are stalled. And then silent tasks, these are ones that have no active comments. There's no momentum on them, right, for 3+ days. And so this way you can kind of go through and start to figure out where bottlenecks may be happening, where stalls are happening, and how you can properly place support for those resources. Predict bottlenecks as you get more information. In the demo, I don't have this just yet, but it'll start to predict bottlenecks based off of historical data. So the more data that you import, or the more connections you have and data that you have on your boards, etc., the more useful this will be. And so here's how it calculates predicted bottlenecks. This is a really cool feature, so you can start getting ahead of things before they become a problem. And then you have your dependency analysis. So let's go ahead and get into forecasting here. This one is really cool to see how you normally progress, as well as where your current status is and what the complexity breakdown of each of these are, right? So here you can see an active task. We have 6 very complex tasks, whereas in the last 30 days, our complexity is only 11% instead of 26. You can see here where it thinks we're overcommitted based on what we have here, right? And our weekly throughput is 1.1 tasks, which would be, in any business, very slow. You'll get a nice throughput trend here, as well as your capacity ratio. So it thinks we're over by 20% based on this data. And then you get your project burn down projection, which is going to show where your total scope is and how the completed tasks are going against this. This is really nice for Sprint type stuff, you probably have these in your sprint metrics, but where this is cool is if you aren't running sprints, you can still start to see, for instance, if you do waterfall, how it's burning down for that whole project, because this just takes a look into a scope over the last 30 days and a 14-day projection as well. It's really easy to integrate. You just click a button. You're just going to go through, like if I just put in my email, my API token, and a site URL, the next thing is just kind of editing the stages. So I'll just go back here, and you just kind of drag and drop these stages where you have your start column, your done column. Zeros don't count towards workflow, but like it'll read blocked and go, oh, you moved a task into block, it's been in the block status, whereas if you move a task back into backlog, it's going to count that as deprioritized. So it'll actually read the titles of these as well as taking into account whether it's part of your normal workflow. And then you would just hit save changes and you're done. Give it 5 minutes and it's going to start pulling in all of the data. It's a read-only connection, and all of the infrastructure on this is built on SOC compliant software. There's no infrastructure or software that this touches that isn't SOC compliant. So check Riplane out today at riplane.com. Thank you.